Hello guys, welcome back. My name's Nathan, and today we need to talk about Alexis Lafreniere and what's gone wrong for him so far this season. Now, the first overall pick for the New York Rangers in 5 games played this year in his rookie season has 0 goals, 0 assists, and 0 points. And his start to the year has been just that, pretty disastrous. But how likely is it that Lafreniere will continue this slump throughout the rest few weeks and the rest of this season? And what has truly gone wrong for Alexis Lafreniere so far from the New York Rangers and this season? Watch till the end for all of the analysis, all the predictions as well throughout the rest of the year, and hit that subscribe button if you're new. We have 70% of the people that are watching these videos that are not subscribed, so we'd love to have you join the Grav gang and get on the road to 31K. So, of course, in the last video, we ended up announcing the 30K subscriber giveaway, giving away Dallas Stars hats, and we're going to be drawing a winner for that in this video. So, the keyword, of course, was Pavelski. Let's end up searching that, and the winner is William Tam, with the amazing profile picture. Anyways, make sure to contact me at nathanmerds@gmail.com. That's my email. Send me your information there, and the Dallas Stars hat is yours. Now back to the topic at hand, and I want to start out today by saying that no, Alexis Lafreniere is not a bust, but these 5 games have drawn some criticism and some concern, not just because of the points, but I think also in some really valid ways with the way he is playing right now. Now again, in 5 games played, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, and it's not exactly how the Rangers would have liked to have seen Alexis Lafreniere's game put up to this point. Of course, the first overall pick in the 2020 draft, the first overall pick in the QMJHL draft, he has been a perennial superstar prospect and superstar talent, and this is a guy that should be the first overall pick and should be up to that level. Now, it hasn't been the case so far. A lot of rookies have been better than Alexis Lafreniere, but again, not just in the points, but how they're playing so far. Now, again, those 0 points, but he's been getting a pretty decent opportunity, especially lately when he's been on the second line with Ryan Strome and Artemi Panarin. In terms of ice time on the team, right now he sits at number 14 overall, but 6th in terms of forward ice time, with around an average of 15 minutes and 36 seconds. And so far, Lafreniere, he's been given, I think, a better opportunity than Kakko had in his rookie year, but is also getting off to a worse start than Kakko, at least when it comes to the points. But when it comes to the advanced stats, right now he has a 46% expected goals for percentage, which is not great either. And so far, I think those stats are pretty telling of how Lafreniere's been playing. Now, I think he's had a couple of pretty decent games, but for the most part, it's been pretty average. And especially playing with guys like Artemi Panarin and having that type of talent around you and being the talent of Alexis Lafreniere, I think so far it's been a pretty bad start, of course, and has not exactly gone his way. There has been some great shifts here and there, and some shifts where he definitely probably should have scored a goal, especially in that last game versus Pittsburgh where he missed the open nets, and that would have been absolutely beautiful, but he just could not put it home. It's been a lot of luck and a lot of just average play mixed together to create a situation where it's just been disappointing so far. Now, to just put into perspective just how good of a year Alexis Lafreniere had last year, in the QMJHL, he played 52 games, got 35 goals, 77 assists for 112 points, above a 2 point per game, and those type of numbers haven't really been reached since guys like Sidney Crosby back in their day. And in the World Juniors, 14 Canada was the MVP and was just spectacular. In 5 games, got 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points, and missed a couple of games as well. He could have been even more impactful and could have gotten even more points on the board if that was the case, but was not able to be there for the full time due to injury. And just the whole year in general was spectacular for Alexis Lafreniere, and everywhere he played, he was dominant, and it was expected that he would fully transition that to the NHL. Obviously not scoring 112 points in the NHL to start out, but being a player that would be in the Calder Trophy race at least. Now, personally, for my Calder Trophy rankings, as you guys know, I had Kirill Kaprizov number 1 as my Calder winner at the end of the season. I just thought being in the KHL for as long as he was, and being as good as Kirill Kaprizov was, which is obviously what I expected the whole time since about 2017 when I started watching him, I thought that was a guy that was going to transition fully to the NHL and be fantastic. And so far, offensively, Kaprizov definitely has been. With Alexis Lafreniere, though, I had him number 2 in my Calder race. I'm not afraid to say it that I had him top 3 and had him as the runner-up to Kaprizov. I thought he was going to have a pretty good year, around 35, maybe 40 points in a 56-game season, but was going to be a big part of that Rangers team to start out, and a consistent offensive force, especially on the power play. And although the power play time hasn't been there completely offensively, just in general, the offense hasn't completely been there. I don't think defensively he's been as bad as Kakko was last year. It's pretty hard to get to that level, so I think he's been about average in that end. But in terms of the offense where he should be making his money and should be making that first overall impact, it just hasn't been there whatsoever, and especially on a consistent basis, just hasn't existed. Now, there have been some games here and there where you could obviously tell there was some jitters. I mean, being a first overall pick for the New York Rangers does bring some pretty lofty expectations, or lofty expectations, you get it? Nah, but it does kind of factor in, especially in the first couple of games, I thought, versus the New York Islanders. But I think that last game versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, I don't know about you guys, but I think that last game versus Pittsburgh was really just evident of what's happened with Lafreniere so far, and is the greatest example of his point struggles, at least. In that game versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, he was still playing with Panarin, still getting a pretty decent opportunity for most of that game, I thought. And I thought had some pretty good shifts. Some shifts where he also was kind of invisible, wasn't really doing too much to impact the offensive side of things. But there were chances galore. There was that one chance that I explained earlier where he had a great pass right across the slot, right to his tape. It was a bobbling puck. He got the puck back again after it bobbled off him, tried to shoot it, whipped on the pass, and at that point it was too late. No goals, no points for Lafreniere on that opportunity. And I think that's what really shows what Lafreniere has gone through. He's had some great shifts. He's been invisible sometimes, and sometimes played good, sometimes has played bad, but the luck has also just not been on his side whatsoever. And yes, you don't want to see your rookie go scoreless, but I'm not overly concerned with how Alexis Lafreniere has played. I don't think he's been bad, I don't think he's been good, but he's been pretty much okay with a lot of bad luck, and that's sad to see. But for me, Alexis Lafreniere, I wasn't expecting to be okay this year. In some respects, I'm concerned about that, because if any player, I think, especially first overall wise, these last couple of years, would come into the NHL and be great on day one, I thought it would be Lafreniere. Comparing him to Jack Hughes, I thought, like, comparing the two in terms of draft years, Lafreniere would have a much better one. Comparing to Rasmus Dahlin, even, I think Lafreniere had a much more higher ceiling for a Calder race, I would say. And even though the QMJHL is what it is, Alexis Lafreniere is 19 years old, and even though it is still on the younger side, that's pretty old for a first overall pick making their NHL and rookie season's debut, and it just has not really been too productive. It hasn't been consistent, and of course the luck has not been in on his side, which has pretty much created this complete monster that has cultivated throughout these last few games. And it's sad to see, because I think Alexis Lafreniere will eventually get going, and hopefully throughout the second half of the season will really start to gel on that top six especially, and hopefully get some more power play time. But it just has not worked out whatsoever, and the luck, of course, has not been there either. Now, I don't know if this is a problem or a concern. I think it's kind of just a nitpick, but I think this is really affecting him in terms of the luck and the things actually going his way. And I wouldn't say it's the style of the game that's been the problem. It's more so the kind of direction that he's playing at. Let me explain here for a second. With Alexis Lafreniere, he's never been a super complicated offensive player, but in the QMJHL, he had a lot of bag of tricks, obviously, and was the best player in that league by far. Offensively, he was strutting his skills and was a player that you never really knew what he was going to do next. He wasn't like a Connor McDavid, always pulling out the skating, always pulling out the skill, and always making the skill play. But he was a guy that would use it in the right ways and knew when to use it as well, almost perfectly. Compare that to his NHL debut, and it seems like he's a guy that thinks he's an AHL player, and I don't know if this is maybe you guys don't agree, but I think Alexis Lafreniere's kind of played a little bit too much of a simple game, at least from the few games that I've really studied Lafreniere this year. It feels like he's always making the simple play, always making just the decent, okay decision, and that's all right, obviously, it's just okay. But I think Lafreniere hasn't really been in a comfortable position to really use his skill and his advantage, and maybe that's because of the position he's put in, maybe that's because of the pressure on him, but I would really like to see Lafreniere get more on the creative side and really try to take out defenses with ease, and that's what I think Alexis Lafreniere can do. He has the talent to be an elite franchise winger, and it just doesn't seem like he's trying to do that right now, which obviously I think as a 19-year-old is mostly the right decision. But there's been some times where I'm like, dude, you can use your skill there instead of just dumping the puck and going and trying to just fish it out just systematically. There was a lot of times, especially early on, where that was the case. I think it is getting better right now, and they will play the Buffalo Sabres very soon, so I'm really hoping that he will use his skill against those D-men, because they're not that great in Buffalo. But I really think that he has the opportunity to be so much more creative, so much more exciting, and I think that would really help his game in terms of not just putting points on the board, but being a more effective offensive player. And I think he's done a lot of the simple things right. I don't think he's trying too much, and I'd rather him not try as much creative stuff than be burned because of it. But I would like to see more consistency in that aspect, and I think Lafreniere hasn't really been. Maybe it's because of the confidence that he's not having right now. Maybe it's because he doesn't think he can do it, but I think in some respects something needs to change there, and the creativity does need to be kind of blossomed out of him. Now, I do want to say that with Lafreniere's slump, if you want to call it that right now, I think it's more of a problem for the New York Rangers than it is for Alexis Lafreniere long term, with the guys that were so consistent last year in players like Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad not really being up to that level this year, it seems like so far. I think Lafreniere's kind of been put on the blame a little bit too much when some of the leaders that New York has haven't really been up to snuff as they usually would be. Now, I do want to say also that for me, at least in the predictions for the standings, I had New York as a team that I thought was going to get 6th in the East Division, wasn't going to make the playoffs, but still could be rather close. But the big thing for me was that if Alexis Lafreniere wasn't up to a Calder level, I really didn't see New York doing that well. And so far, he's been scoreless, and the Rangers as well have kind of been disappointing too as a result. And there's been a lot of other reasons because of that. But I think Lafreniere was kind of expected to almost from day one carry this team, and obviously that has not been the case thus far, and any expectation for any 19-year-old to do that is pretty baloney. And for Alexis Lafreniere, it's sad that he's kind of been put in that position a little bit too much throughout this season so far. But just as the whiteboard says, breathe, he will be alright, and you will be alright. Do not worry, and Alexis Lafreniere will come through eventually. The first goal will come. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of luck, and hopefully the hockey gods do bless us sometime soon. But that is going to be it for today, guys. A little bit lesser, or a little bit of a lesser long video, a shorter video. A little bit of a shorter video, but thanks so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy the kind of discussion roundup, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell as well for more hockey videos just like this one. Of course, let me know in the comments down below, what have you thought about Alexis Lafreniere's season so far? Are you disappointed? Are you optimistic for the future? When do you think he's going to get his first goal? Everything and more, let me know in the comments. And of course, share this video with your friends. Get the Grav gang out there and hit this card right here to watch all my hockey prospects talk right on one playlist. My name is Nathan. Thanks so much for watching. Lafreniere will be alright. It'll be okay. Just wait. Good things come to those who wait. I'll see you in the next video or stream though. Thanks so much for tuning in. Goodbye.